It's a brand new week and a brand new episode here on the Granny Panty Podcast. I'm your host, RubyLynne. Before you go much further, be sure to hit that bell and the subscribe button because you don't want to miss an episode. If you'd like to follow me, the host, you can go to RubyLynne.com where it's all things Ruby. This week's guest is proving that age is just a number and that it's really your state of mind that's most important. He's been in the adult business for over 30 years. So he's going to tell us how to last and keep having fun. So I can't wait to introduce you to Jack Moore. Jack, I'm so excited to have you on this week's episode of the Granny Panty Podcast. So welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you much. It's an honor. It's an honor. Thank you.
Oh, well, it's an honor to have you on. I was lucky enough that, one of my viewers or fans tagged you under a post, and I thought, I need to find out more about this mature porn star.
Yeah. Mature. I like that.
Yeah, mature. And so thank you.
Very mature. Yeah. Actually, that's chronologically, but not emotionally. I'm very adolescent emotionally. I'm just a kid at heart.
I can agree with that because I always say I'm 58 going on probably 38 because I think 38 was about the time that I, finally became who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So
I'm 32.
32, yes.
I'm 32. Yeah. I've been 32 for a long time. Yeah.
You knew at some point I was going to ask you how old you were. So yes, 32. I like that because you're going to keep them guessing.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like we said earlier. Is it really a lie? If it's so obviously not true, nobody's going to believe that. 32, really? Yeah. But I have seen people. You can see their eyes. The wheels are turning there. It says, no, it can't be. But no,
right.
I'm not.
And they're probably going to guess younger than what we really are anyway.
I'll take whatever they throw out there. I've
That's
had
right.
anything from 55 to 80.
I love it.
Doesn't
So
change me.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, hey, whatever they think, it doesn't change me. I'm still me. So
that's right.
I'm fine with whatever you think.
I love that. So I want to know, recently just came upon your content and I think maybe I'd seen a couple times you flashed through my Twitter feed, but how long have you been in the adult industry?
It's coming up on 30 years, probably 28 years, something like that. I think. Yeah, real close.
Wow.
Yeah, real close. Yeah.
That is amazing.
I forget what I'm going to do when I grow up.
That's right. So, how did you get into it? Because you sent me your bio, and first off, I want to thank you for your service to our country. You listed many medals and that kind of thing. I don't know how much you want to share about that, but you really served in a time that was very controversial, and so thank you.
Yeah, we could spend hours just on the politics of the time alone. So
right. But so how did you transition then, from your military career, and then I believe you had a business degree, and then boom, get naked on the internet, or not on the internet originally?
That was before the internet. Actually, not really before the internet, but the internet was in its infancy at the time.
Yeah.
So most of the sales that people were doing, the videos that I was in, they were selling them at the local video stores. You can go in and browse through there and pick out the one you want, and you buy it or rent it, and that was the era at the time. So yeah, that was before the digital age of the business. The digital age just changed everything completely, just opened it up completely. Now everybody can be access to it. It's
right.
You don't have to go sneaking into the back door of the video shop.
That's true. So you went from VHS to
yeah, I actually shot
Google search.
Some of the early ones were actually on film.
Oh wow!
Big budget movie theater kind of film. and most of what I shot was on VHS. That's true, and then
Got
they
you.
digitized it. Yeah.
Did you start in mainstream movies?
My many years ago, I studied acting for 3 years, a little over 3 years,
Hmm.
and my intent was to be a professional actor. That's what I wanted to do,
Yeah.
and I studied it, and I really enjoyed the process, enjoyed the acting, and you learn a lot about yourself when you study a craft that you have to draw from deep within to bring out things.
Hmm.
You're going to play a role, and that role has nothing to do. It doesn't. It's not a part of your life. So
Hmm.
you have to figure out a way to make it a part of your life, to make it real, and it teaches you how to do those things. And most people in normal life would never be able to access that.
Right.
I think women have an ability to tap into their emotions a little easier than men because of the cultural requirements. You know, we're supposed to be rough, tough, don't never cry, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Well, the acting allows you to get in those deep parts and bring it out, and that's one of the things I enjoy. Oh, at the time, uh, I had people relying on me for income and stuff, so
Hmm.
being a starving actor wasn't really in the cards. So I continued working and trying to make a living. It was
Yeah.
sometime later that you may know the name Britt Morgan. She's a well known actress in the business. Back in the '80s, I guess.
Right.
And
Right.
I met her, and then we were talking, came kind of not real tight, close friends, but
Hmm.
friendly, and I admire the hell out of the woman. But she told me to get in touch with World Modeling when I got to L.A. Um, and I did. I was on a trip, ended up in L.A. for a few days, and went over and talked to the man, Jim South, and anybody
Yep.
in the business that was around long ago knows Jim South and World Modeling, and just a terrific
Absolutely.
guy, just terrific guy. And he brought me in, put me to work right away. I mean, I was flattered and stunned and had a blast.
I bet.
Well, yeah, that was really cool. Yeah. Now, how I get asked all the time, men that want to be in the business
Oh yeah.
about how to get in, and nowadays I haven't a clue. I really don't have a clue because back then, yeah, I don't want to be kind of crass here, but that was kind of before all the enhancing things were
Right.
available. It was before Viagra and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So guys who could be in a room with a whole bunch of other people milling around doing things, because in those
Yep.
days the set was fairly busy. It wasn't just you and the girl. It was
Right.
you and the girl and the cameraman and the sound man, the light guy, and a couple of props and all the staff and the crew that's around to help make things happen. And
Yeah.
so trying to keep focused on what you're supposed to be doing when there's all this stuff going on around you, not everybody could do that.
Yeah.
I was able to, and I think because of my acting studies,
That's
I was
true.
able to channel, to focus in on the job and be able to tune out all that other stuff. So I
Right.
think that helped me a lot. So yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. I suppose it was the can you pop on command? You're hired.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, yeah.
That's amazing. And so, how long did you work your, I would call it the vanilla job and the triple
Yeah,
X job before you gave up the
yeah,
vanilla?
yeah. For many years, and many years,
Yeah.
and it was kind of funny because the longer you spend in this business, the more popular you get. Just not because you're so great, but just because of longevity. Um, and it became pretty apparent to everybody I was working with. I mean, so nobody would really talk about it out loud, but
Yeah.
everybody knew,
Yeah.
and I was cool with it. I was fortunate that my vanilla job allowed me flexibility,
Yeah.
and nobody dug in. Nobody's hiding in the closet trying to catch you doing anything. They just take care of your job, do it well, and that's
Yeah.
what we did. So it really wasn't an issue. I don't know in this day and age. I don't know because information is so readily available
Mhm.
everywhere. If
Yep.
you have a face that you're kind of curious who that is, there's programs that you can just go search
Oh,
the
sure.
and pops up every place that face showed up, and it's pretty amazing. Yeah, that didn't exist a few years ago. So
Yeah. Google Lens is scary.
yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. I think there's several of them, but yeah, one of them is yeah. You take a picture. You just take a screenshot of somebody on the computer's their face
Yeah.
and just search it. And holy Christ, I didn't
I
know that.
know. I am a former social worker to triple X, and I worked both for 2 years. And I kept waiting for someone, or someone on my caseload that had been
Yeah.
out there searching the internet and entertaining themselves until I finally, my accountant said, "Well, your social media job outpaced your social work job." So I'm like, "Good. I'm giving my notice immediately."
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I let things pretty much run their natural course. I was able to do both.
Yeah.
Balancing things, and it really
Mhm.
it worked out pretty well for me. I'm not going to go into details about how I did
Sure.
that in particular because it's I want to keep the personal stuff personal. But so please forgive
Absolutely.
me. But yeah, as I was fortunate in that I was in an environment where I could juggle
That's
the two
cool.
and do it pretty safely. But it's pretty cool though.
That is
Those-
amazing.
I had done one of my early shoots was I think it was for Metro, and it was on VHS, and it was a real low budget, just
Mhm.
and it was just me. They were shooting several scenes that afternoon, and I was just one of several. And when it came my turn, I was cast with a girl that was actually from Portugal,
Oh,
and so we did our thing, and the whole shoot, I bet probably didn't take more than an hour to for from the time we walked in till the time we walked out. It's probably not more than an hour or so. So it was real quick. And I didn't really think much of it. And sometime later, I was on an airplane and I went back to the lab. And as I was coming back, one of the flight attendants come up and says, "Have you ever heard of a guy named?" And he was in a video just recently. I said, and so I said I was messing with the guy. So I said, "Was he with a really pretty girl with long black hair?" He says, "Yeah, yeah." No, never heard of it. So I'm walking off.
oh, that's so
So
funny.
he's standing going, uh,
That is funny.
yeah,
How
that was.
often do you get recognized? Do you get recognized pretty
I
often?
don't know. I get a lot of double takes. Uh,
Yeah.
I go to the gym, and there's usually some. I see people looking at me that really it's not. They're not looking at me because they like my butt. They're looking at you. There's plenty of other people in there that you would do that. But try not to be obvious about it. But I pretty much every time I go there, I see people looking at me and they're
Yeah.
doing the double take. So I suspect they're wondering, geez, he looks just like the. I wonder, why would he be the gym here? So
He looks like that stepdad I watched on
yeah,
the
yeah,
video
yeah,
the
yeah.
other day.
Yeah, stepdad, step uncle, step grandfather, step grandfather in law, step. What is going on here? Step everything.
Right,
When we
right.
when we turn on the John Wick movie and he shoots 100 people, does anybody really believe that he actually shot anybody? No, of course not.
Right.
I mean, why would they think that we're actually related? When the until we show up on set, very often you've never seen the other person. And yet
Exactly.
we pretend to be related on TV. Doesn't mean it's real. We're not real. So
Right.
anyway, that's one of my little pet peeves. Got to prove over and over again that you're not actually related to the person you're shooting with. Not
Yep.
related. Never met them before. We're
Right.
friends.
I
We're
I
friends now.
I get the same thing. "Is that really your stepson?" I just say, "Yep, it was."
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, why not? Roll with it. It's entertainment. It's fantasy. I forget
I
what.
rejected that whole stepmom thing in the very beginning, probably for a good couple years, and then I realized how much money I was leaving on the table, and I went,
Yeah,
"It's
it's a silly game, but
acting.
you play it. Yeah,
It's acting. Bring it on." And so I really leaned into it.
yeah, it's a
But
silly game that we play. But it's if that's what the powers that be require, then okay, I'll play your silly game.
that's right. That's right. That's right. Who would you say has been your most important inspiration in the business?
Whoa, that's a good question. Oh, that's a really good question. I don't know. It's because I never really had any. Like most guys,
Mhm.
we look at the women.
Gotcha.
Uh, so from the perspective of modeling my performance
Hmm.
after another male actor, I don't really have any. There's people that I've met that I like. We're friends.
Hmm.
It's not like we go and hang out every weekend together, but we're friends. I'm glad to talk with them, and when we get a chance to work together, it's cool with me. And um, So I really can't answer that question. I really don't
I
know.
think you're the inspiration for the younger guys coming in.
Well, that's flattering. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you've set, some of the standards for the mature creator and also longevity. What do you um, credit the longevity you've had 30 years? I mean, that's
I
amazing.
have no idea, and I get asked that pretty often. I guess it's the degree of horniness, for one. So, yeah, I was a dirty old man when I was 15, so it's nothing. But I guess it's just that I love women.
Mhm.
I love sex, and I love the performance. It's the actor in me that loves the performance, and you put all those together, and it's just a lot of fun for me. I just look forward to every. I've never had a bad shoot. Never. I've had some that were
Mhm.
better than others, but I've never had a
Right,
bad shoot. It's you make the best out of it, no matter what the circumstances, no matter what the situation. So
right.
it's and everyone I've ever worked with, I've really enjoyed working with. I've never had a person that say I'm never going to work with them again. I've never had that. I hear other people say it, but I've never had that. Everybody I've
Right.
worked with, I'd be happy to work with again.
Yeah, I recently shot for adult time and they're like, "What's your no list?" I'm like, "I don't have a no list." I mean, I'll work with it, I'll work with whoever you want to pair me with. And so,
Yeah,
yeah, I feel
they
the
ask me,
same
and I
way.
say, I'm pretty flexible. As I was asked one time, what kind of girls do you like, or what's your favorite kind of girl? And I'll say, well, first of all, they got to be female, and after that, I'm pretty flexible.
That's I love that.
One
Do you
qualifier.
tend to go ahead.
No, I was just going to say just one qualifier. That's it. That's the only qualifier. They got to be female. After that, I'm
That's
pretty.
right. Do you tend to shoot more studio or do you shoot more collaboration stuff like for your own OnlyFans?
Uh, I used to shoot mostly all studio stuff. I'm doing a lot of collaborations now, and that's by choice. Uh,
Mhm.
the parts for older guys, more mature guys.
Mhm.
There's not all that many. There are, but there's not all that many. And of course, with the advent of Viagra and Cialis and all the other things that they have
Mhm.
to boost you along, uh, I used to jokingly say guys hadn't had a hard on in 20 years are now porn actors. So I get the
Yeah, right.
so there's it's all of these things have made the business a lot easier. So it's a
Mhm.
competition for all these roles.
How often do you shoot? Are you like shooting 5 days a week or
No, probably a couple times a week.
Okay.
And some of them are just little clips that we figure out that this will be cool.
Mhm.
Go and shoot that. But there's something to keep it going. And I
And
see
you're
the feast or famine syndrome. It seems to be that all of a sudden I've got 2 weeks worth of holy. I fit all this into the thing. And then there'll be 2 weeks of doing absolutely nothing. I'll go work on my old car. I guess.
right. I think it is that way. I mean, I feel like it is. I live in Portland, Oregon, so there's not many creators locally. So I have to travel to do collaborations, and then it's like serial collabing. It's like, okay, I need to do 6 shoots or
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But do you travel much? I know you're in Florida, correct?
Yeah, I travel all the time. Yeah, I
Okay.
travel a lot. Yeah, and pretty much anywhere. I travel to Europe to shoot as well.
Oh wow. How often do you do that?
Uh, I have connections in the business, and transportation is not really a problem for me. So, uh,
Good.
yeah, it's. I love the change. I've traveled most of my adult life and international, a lot of that.
Mhm.
So going to Europe for me is not that big a deal. I've been going to Europe for many, many, many years.
Gotcha.
Places that people save a lifetime to go and see and do. I've been doing routinely, several times a year for a huge part of my life. I've
Oh,
been to
that's
Rome many
amazing.
times. I've been to London many times. Been to Paris many times. Always happy to
Mhm.
go back. I love them all. Just you never get tired of it. Just love it all. Uh, some of the Western or the Eastern Bloc that for many years you couldn't get into are now
Mhm.
easy to get to. Budapest, Prague, all
Right.
those places. I just the history, the cultures.
Mhm.
Even though we're all Westerners, so the cultures are very similar, but they're not the same. And
Right.
it's a joy to experience that, sort of get out and absorb all this culture.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a travel that's my
Yeah.
hobby is really travel. I just got back from Australia actually, and
Been to
that was
Australia many
amazing.
times. I love it. Yeah, where all did you go?
Sydney for a few days and then Melbourne.
Yeah, yeah. Melbourne's a good city. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a pretty good adult business industry in Melbourne, from what I understand. I've been to Melbourne twice, but wouldn't never stayed very long, so I didn't really get out and around much. I did my R&R when I was in Vietnam. I did my R&R to Sydney. That was
Oh,
my
nice.
first time in Sydney, and I've been back many times
Yeah.
over the years. So
It
always
was a
have.
bucket list.
Yeah, yeah. I
I
went
didn't
to
work. No work. It was just vacation.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I was. Yeah, went to Surfers Paradise, flew into
Oh, yeah.
flew into Sydney, then caught a flight up to Brisbane, and then
Mhm.
rented a car and drove to Surfers, and that was really cool.
That sounds
Yeah,
amazing.
it was a fun trip. Yeah,
Wow. How long ago was that? Was quite a while ago,
that
right?
was quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Being only 32, it was really a long time ago.
If you could go back and give your 18-year-old self or even 21-year-old self a piece of advice, one piece of advice, what would it be?
Buy Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. But the markets. You look back in your investments that you've made in your life, and you go with the best information that you have at that time,
Sure.
which a few years later you'll discover was. So I can't believe I fell for that. I can't. So anyway, but that's one of the things. We wish we had made smarter investments over the years. uh,
Yeah.
you always come to everybody will, especially the young people. Young people out there watching this, you will come to crossroads. You will come to points in your life where you say, "Would I take the left fork or the right fork? I don't
Mhm.
know." Well, you just go with the best information you got, and if things work out great, good for you. If they don't work out, don't quit. Keep fighting, keep going,
Yeah.
because if you try hard enough, you'll find a way to make it work.
That is true. That is very true.
We get choices all through life, and you just make the best choice you can, and go with it and make the best of it. You're not always going to be right.
That's
Seek
correct.
advice from smart people. That's a
Yeah. I always say don't take advice from broke people or don't
Yeah,
take
yeah.
financial.
But take advice from anybody that'll give it to you. It doesn't mean you got to take it, but get the
Right.
advice. Get the advice.
That's
Listen to people. Yeah.
Get all the information, process it, yeah, make the best decision. I know, I wish I would have been smart enough to buy stock in Apple or
Oh, yeah,
Microsoft.
yeah, that's all that stuff. Yeah. When I said Berkshire Hathaway, what does a share of Berkshire Hathaway cost nowadays? It's probably near 100 grand, I think. And you
Yeah,
could have bought them, 30 years ago for a fraction of that. So, we don't know. You don't know. You go with the best. The point here is that, think about the future, plan as
yeah,
best you can, get as much advice as you can, and then just make the best choice you can. And if it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, well, roll with it. Fix it, because more
yeah.
more opportunities will come.
Well, you actually answered one of my questions was what advice would you give to somebody coming into the business in this day and age? You kinda
Yeah,
just answered it.
yeah, it's a blabbermouth here. Just run with it. But really, is that's a tough, because a lot of people want to be in the business,
Mhm.
and there's with the advent of the internet and digital age.
Yeah,
Well, it doesn't take a whole lot that you can, make movies. Then it becomes a matter of, well, how do you make movies that people will want to see? Because it's one thing
right.
to make movies for you and your girlfriend, or for you and your wife, or whatever. It's something else to make them for the public to sell. It's got to be a product that people will like and want to see. So, and there's a
Yeah,
lot of factors that go into that. And there's something for everyone. I mean, if you don't have to be the
true.
best looking dude or the best looking woman, and there's a market for everything and
Mhm.
anything, and I guess finding that niche is a real secret. I guess my niche is old guys. I don't know.
I love it.
Yeah,
It's true. That's been very refreshing when I got into the business, finding out that there is a fan for every
oh yeah.
person, and I think, that is amazing to me.
I am so flattered that I have so many people that send me messages, DMs, and stuff, that tell me that they like my work. It's absolutely just, men, women, all of it. I mean, it's flattering to me. And then when I get messages from women that really like my work, that's even more flattering, because that's because I expect guys are going to like, I'm a guy. I know. So, but when I get messages from women that say they like my work, that's even more flattering.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate it. Yeah, keep those messages coming in. I love it. I love it.
That's right. It's great for the ego. I always say that, like, people also, another funny thing that gets said to me anyway is I do a lot of live streaming, on social media to funnel over to the naughtier side. But they're always like, "You're just an attention whore. You're just attention seeker." Or, yeah,
I'm a performer. Yeah, I'm a performer. No doubt about it. Yeah, there's no doubt
I'm
about it.
like,
I was.
yeah,
You might get a chuckle out of this one, but I forget. It was years ago, and we were on the set, and it was back in the days when there was lots of people around. It wasn't just two people in the camera; it was several. Had a crew there, and the producer came over to me. We were just about to start shooting, and the producer comes over to me and says, "Jack, one of our sponsors is over there, and he was wondering if he could sit in on the shoot. What do you think?" And I could tell by the way he was asking me that he expected me to say no, and I can't. I said, "Well, let me answer you this way: you could put up bleachers and sell tickets for all I care."
that's so funny.
He didn't put up bleachers, but this was sponsor sat in, and it didn't make any difference because I went into my
Right.
mode and focused on what I'm doing. So and who was watching. So
Mhm.
it was kind of academic to me.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, I've always been an exhibitionist at heart. So, it's
That was
perfect.
something, yeah, that was something that was not natural to me. I was always bashful,
Mhm.
and the acting training helped me sort of bring that out.
Mhm.
I was able to,
Mhm.
to separate the bashfulness from the performance. You're able to
Right.
you learn how to do that.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense.
I love
Um,
I love the live streaming stuff too. You were saying you did that because I was friends of mine, uh, JW Ties and Alice Merchese. They were doing Chatterbait stuff. I don't mean to give anybody a plug, but they were doing live streaming, and they invited me to do the show with them. So
nice.
I thought, cool, so I get to do the show with them. We had a blast. And what's really fun is you've got a whole lot of people that are watching and
Mhm.
interacting with you and getting you to do all these different things. Of course, they got a menu for things that you can
Sure.
do, they will do, and and how many tokens and all that kind of stuff. And I'm oblivious to all that. I had no idea how. Alice, it was her show, and
Mhm.
she's very familiar with all that stuff, so she handled all that stuff, and I just did what I was told to do, and I had a blast doing it. So yeah,
I
that was a lot
love
of fun.
it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Have you thought about making your own account and being a live streamer?
I rather work with somebody else. That
Yeah.
I don't really have any interest in doing solo stuff,
Mhm.
and I get requests for that pretty often, and I apologetic, but the solo stuff just doesn't really appeal to me. I've got some solo things out there that were kind of a
Sure.
off the cuff, spur of the moment kind of okay. Let me turn the camera on for a minute, but to actually do performances for sale solo, I got. I had requests, a lot of them, for some jerk off scene.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm not really excited about doing that. I mean, it's not really kind of a macho thing. Maybe for some it is, but for me, it just didn't seem to work well. So I had a friend nearby, and she's also in the business, but not active, not real busy.
Mhm.
So I told her what I was thinking, and she said, "Sure, I'll do it with you." So we went over and set up the lights and everything. So I set the shot up where it's just me standing there buck ass naked and talking to the camera, saying, "Okay, for all my friends that want to see me do a jerk off scene, okay, well, this is my version of a jerk off scene." Then you see her hand come in and grab a hold of me, and then the camera goes from a full body shot and it focuses right where the action.
POV, yeah.
Yeah, so and it was a great fun, and we moved around, and we made it entertaining, made it fun, and I got a lot of positive reaction out of that. But that was my version of a solo.
That's your version. I
Yeah,
love it.
that's how I do it. Yeah,
That's a good idea.
and people seem to like it, so I mean, it's still sells. So
Yeah.
I'm pleased. Yeah. She
POV
had a
is a
blast.
big
It was a lot of
thing.
fun for me. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a way to improvise though,
yeah, yeah. It was
to
funny
something that
because
you might not enjoy.
yeah, she really enjoys the work. She really does enjoy it. So it's supposed to be just a jerk off scene. So she's going to town, and then and then we're getting to the point where I'm starting to get ready for the pop. We wanted to get a certain length of time in there. So now she's sitting on a chair, and you can't really see her. It's still focused on me. my day.
Yeah.
And she's just going to town, and you could see her face coming in closer and closer. And I looked down at her and said, "It's okay," and
Ah,
she gobbled me up. I just that was great. I just loved it. She was so anxious to get that dick in her mouth.
that's so funny.
Obviously, it was great for me. So yeah, that was funny.
I love it. I love it. So one thing you mentioned before we went live was you were still figuring out what you want to be when you grow up or
Oh
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So what are your plans? What are your plans for the future?
yeah. Well, I want to get my old Corvette running. You talk about big plans, right? As I say that jokingly because it's one of those projects that tinker with it here, tinker with it there. I get to it when I get to it. There's always other things that are more important.
What year is it?
It's an '82. It's into that C3 series, but it's been my project. It's been sitting out there for years.
Yeah. Does it have the T-tops?
Yeah, it's T-top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it black?
No, it's that's the original color is kind of a blue gray. Uh,
Okay.
I'm not real sure how to describe it, but it's been repainted.
Gotcha.
So one
Gotcha.
of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to take that gray overshoot, overcoat off,
Mhm.
and see how much of the original paint is underneath. There's no cracks, no dents, no dings, no nothing. I mean, it's still nice and straight. It's just been sitting for a long time. So,
Have you owned it originally or?
no, I bought this years ago from a guy that had it for. The guy I bought it from had it in his garage for 13 years.
I'm kind of a car girly,
It really
believe
is.
it or not.
I think it's great. Have you seen some of the car shows? The mechanics, the women, some of those shows. Those girls kick ass. They do a
Yeah,
great job.
they do.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I mean, they do stuff I wouldn't try to do.
In high
Now,
school, I drove a 1973 Chevy Nova SS, and I used to drag race it at my local uh, drag thing.
yeah, did it have the big block in it?
Yeah,
It did, really? Wow.
yeah. And then
Wonder
I
what that
tricked
car
it
would be worth
out.
today. Yeah,
I had to have like air shocks and put the Krager wheels on it. And yeah,
Gregors, yeah, classics. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was cool. I had my senior pictures taken with my car.
Perfect. I love
70,
it.
yes.
Those
But
big SS, those classic hot rodder, from back in the day. Yeah,
I
classic.
know if you can even find one that's actually in decent shape, you're lucky because the 73s, I think it was 72 to 74, the hatchbacks leaked and I had to have mine replaced. And anyway, yeah, I'm kind of a car girl.
I've had a bunch of interesting cars over the years. Some of them are good, none of them not so good. And
Yeah.
had an E-Type Jag, 64 E-Type Jag. That was fun. Had
Nice.
a 1956 Chevy short bed step side pickup truck. Uh, had the big back window,
Hmm.
and I put a 4-bolt main 350 Corvette engine in it and a
Yeah.
4-speed manual transmission. And it ran great in a straight line, but it sucked on handling. It
Yeah.
did for shit. But it went really fast in a straight line. But it was a great old truck.
Well, get that Corvette going. You can do some shows.
I think I'm just going to keep on. I enjoy the business. I
Yeah.
and I've never felt overworked.
Hmm.
That's a hope that someday might happen. It hasn't happened yet. There's never. I've done. There's been occasions when I'm shooting for a producer and they're just doing a whole bunch of clips, fairly short clips, but a whole bunch in one afternoon. You might do 5 or
Uh-huh.
6 clips in an afternoon. And that for me was just exhilarating. I just loved it. So, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? So it's just
Yeah.
great fun for me. You can't overwork me. So it's
Well, fun.
I plan to just keep on doing this for as long as I can and it's comfortable.
Hmm.
If
Awesome.
it ever gets to the point where it's a pain in the ass, then I'll quit. I mean,
Sure.
I'm fortunate enough that I'm okay. I can quit anytime.
Hmm.
I just don't really want to. I kind of enjoy doing what I do. I enjoy getting the suggestions from people. People will send me messages all the time
Hmm.
suggesting that I work with this person or we're that person, and we shoot this or we shoot that, and I take all of that information and I store it up here somewhere
Yeah.
in that
That's
big
awesome.
file up here. But there's a lot of clever ideas out there, and I enjoy hearing them and going with it, and hopefully I can shoot a bunch of them. So I'm not shooting so much of my own production,
Right.
but collaborating with others, working
Hmm.
for other producers, doing their content. I really enjoy that. When you're shooting for yourself, then you have all the production
Oh, I know.
things to deal with. It's not that clear and easy. And there's always something that goes wrong. There's always scheduling problems, and there's always something that happens that you got to deal with. But that's life. I mean, any
Yeah.
business you go into, that's going to be a factor.
I always think of collaborating as herding cats.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
I swear, like,
And the more cats you got, the tougher it gets.
well, and now what I'll do is I will overbook because I know that like 30% are going to cancel last minute. So,
That's a good point. Yeah.
um, and then I'm super picky about who I collab with anyway. So that even narrows it down even more. But,
Yeah.
you know, well, so as we close out, shout out where people can find your work and see all of you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm obviously Jack Moore, so Uncle Jack in many cases. So UncleJacksNieces.com. I'm on OnlyFans, and I've got two OnlyFans. One's free, one's subscription. The
Okay.
free one is at Jack XXX Moore, and the subscription one is at the Jack XXX Moore. Keep it simple. Uh, I've got many vids. Jack xxxmore.manyvids.com. I'm committing this to memory. I should have written some notes down, but
I love this.
and anybody think anything else, let me know. I forgot. I'm sure I forgot something, I
Well,
look
I
forward to
will
hearing.
link all this too when the episode comes out for you.
I do stay fairly active on Twitter, and my Twitter handle is at Jack XXXmore. Uh, Instagram is Uncle Jack Moore. I wonder. I guess can you link those somewhere or put them
Yeah,
down where
yeah.
people can
I'll
find
have
it?
all that linked down below in the episode so everyone knows where to find you. Well, I had such a fun time getting to know you. I'm so glad that Dost tagged you and you
You
and I
got
were
it.
able to connect.
Yeah. No, it's my
So
pleasure. I'm delighted. Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it
I'm
again sometime.
yes, let's do it again in front of a camera without clothes, preferably.
Perfect. Perfect. That's my favorite.
Well, thanks again, Jack. And it was just super fun to get to know you.
Love you, darling. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be with you.